Hello everyone, I'm Pranavi from ENH iSecure. Welcome to this session on Auth0 custom database authentication and migration strategies. Today, you'll discover how to seamlessly integrate your existing user database with Auth0 and select the optimal migration approach according to your needs. In this session, we'll explore three core strategies which are external custom database connections, bulk migration, and automatic migration, and I'll help you identify which best fits your infrastructure and future goals. Let's start by outlining today's agenda. In this session, we are going to cover 5 key areas that will take you from understanding the core problem to implementing the right solution according to your needs. First, we'll start with the problem. We'll explore the common challenge that everyone faces when modernizing authentication, that is, what do you do with existing users? And we'll see how Auth0's custom database connections provide an elegant bridge between old and new systems. Next, we'll walk you through exactly how authentication flows work when leveraging your current user store, and we'll examine the various migration strategies available to you, each designed for different scenarios and requirements. Finally, we'll compare these strategies side by side so you can determine which approach fits your specific situation. So let's start with the challenge that brought us together. So here's the problem. You made the smart decision to adopt Auth0 for its modern features and security, but you have existing users in your legacy database who are happily logging into your system every day. So what's stopping you from making the switch? Well, there are few major roadblocks. First, your users are logged in your legacy database. They have established accounts, preferences, and most importantly, passwords they remember. These aren't just database records, they represent real people who trust your platform. Second, their passwords can't be transferred. That means you can't just export and import passwords. Your existing passwords are hashed using hashing algorithms or custom implementations. Auth0 can't magically decrypt these to migrate them. And third, users expect zero disruption and seamless login experience. No password resets, no re-registration hassles. As you see here, Auth0 on one side, your users on the other, with a big question mark in between. This is exactly why Auth0 created custom database connections. Let's see the solution. So here's Auth0's elegant solution, custom database connection. Think of it as a smart bridge that connects Auth0 to your existing user store. But how does this actually work? Here's the beauty of it. Auth0 connects directly to your existing database using scripts that you write, which are custom Node.js functions. Auth0 speaks your database's language, whether it's MySQL, PostgreSQL, MongoDB, or any other language. For Auth0 to reach your database, you'll also need to ensure network connectivity by opening firewall and ports. And now, to validate the password against your legacy database, make sure to include the password hashing libraries in the script that match your current implementation. Meanwhile, users log in with their existing credentials, same username, same password they've always used. From their perspective, absolutely nothing has changed. Behind the scenes, passwords are verified against your legacy system. Auth0 calls your database to validate credentials using your existing hashing algorithms. And the best part, zero downtime, zero password resets. Users get Auth0's modern features without any inconvenience. As you can see, we've eliminated that question mark. Auth0 now has a direct connection to your legacy database, creating a seamless bridge. But let's see exactly how this authentication flow works in practice. Here's exactly what happens when a user logs in with custom database and the import users to Auth0 mode is disabled. User hits your login page, enters their familiar username and password just like always. They have no idea Auth0 is now involved. Auth0 receives the credentials and automatically selects which script to run, that is, create for signups, login for authentication, change password for updating password. After signing up, if the user tries to verify email, then verify script gets triggered. Meanwhile, your script connects to your legacy database and validates the password using your existing hashing algorithm mentioned in the custom database scripts and returns the result to Auth0. If authentication succeeds, Auth0 creates a shadow record, which is a copy of that specific user's profile information in Auth0's database. But importantly, no passwords are stored in Auth0. Your original data and passwords stay securely in your legacy system. Plus, Admins can delete users through Auth0 dashboard or API calls, which triggers your delete script. As you can see in this flow, every interaction goes through your custom scripts to your database. Now, let's explore the migration options. Auth0 gives you two migration strategies: automatic migration, which is also known as lazy migration, and bulk migration. Let's dive into automatic migration. The process starts with every login attempt. Auth0 first checks if the user already exists in Auth0's database. If they do, authentication happens normally through Auth0 by validating the password against Auth0 user store. For users not yet migrated, Auth0 calls your custom database to validate their credentials against your legacy system. If the login succeeds, Auth0 doesn't just authenticate them, it automatically migrates that user by storing their profile and hash of their password using Bcrypt algorithm in Auth0's database. And users migrate themselves simply by logging in. No bulk operations, no downtime, no user action required. Each successful login moves one more user to Auth0. Now let's compare this with bulk migration strategies to help you choose the right approach. Bulk migration. In this strategy, you can migrate all users at once or break them into manageable batches based on your requirements. You export all your users into a specially formatted JSON file. Auth0 provides a specific schema that includes user profiles and their hashed passwords. The clever part about password handling is Auth0 supports many standard hashing algorithms like Bcrypt, SHA, and others. Your existing password hashes are imported as it is and no need to decrypt anything. If your existing hashing algorithm is not supported by Auth0, then you need to choose automatic migration or go for password reset option. To implement bulk migration, you have two options. Use the management API for maximum flexibility and custom logic, or install a user import export extension for a simple UI based approach. Now, here's what happens during first login after migration. Auth0 uses your imported hash to validate the password, but then immediately rehashes it with Auth0's default decrypt algorithm for future logins. The advantage of bulk migration is complete migration control and speed. And the trade-off is you'll need some downtime to coordinate the switch from your old system to Auth0. Now that we have covered all the migration types and authentication methods, let's compare these strategies to help you decide which approach is right for your specific situation. When choosing your Auth0 migration strategy, it's important to understand the key characteristics and considerations for each approach. Let me walk you through all the strategies. External custom database approach is ideal when you need flexibility and time. You should consider this strategy if you need time to migrate your users or if you are forced to keep your own user store for any reason. This is also the perfect choice if you want to explore Auth0 in more depth before fully committing to migrate users to Auth0. However, this approach comes with few responsibilities. You will be responsible for implementing each of the appropriate database scripts that Auth0 requires. You will also need to maintain your own user store throughout the process, and you must ensure your user store remains accessible via the internet. Bulk migration is your go to strategy when speed is essential. Choose this approach if you want to migrate all users as soon as possible, especially when your current solution relies on an identity service that is becoming deprecated. This strategy is particularly suitable when your current solution is not compliant with laws and regulations, or when licensing fees for your current solution have become unsustainable. A critical requirement for bulk migration is that the algorithm used to hash passwords in your user store must be supported by Auth0. If your passwords are hashed with an unsupported algorithm, those passwords will not be migrated, which could create user experience issues by asking for password reset. Additionally, you may need to import users in multiple steps to ensure data consistency and avoid any inconsistencies during the migration process. Automatic migration offers a more gradual, user driven approach. This strategy is specifically designed for scenarios where the algorithm used to hash passwords in your user store is not supported by Auth0. It's perfect when you don't need to migrate urgently and can afford to keep your custom database online during the entire migration process. This approach allows you to naturally remove inactive users from your user store, as only the users who actively log in will be migrated. However, there are important trade offs to consider. This strategy takes significantly longer than bulk migration since it occurs as users log in rather than all at once. Your legacy custom database needs to remain accessible via the internet during the entire migration period. Most importantly, if the time allotted to the migration period is not well planned, you might risk missing users who don't log in during the migration window.
Each strategy addresses different needs and technical constraints. Consider your timeline, technical requirements, security constraints, and user experience priorities when making your decision.
This brings us to the end of our session. I hope you found the information helpful. Thank you.